well. Off to the right, that barn back in the 90s, the Prairie Bison Ranch had camels along with elephants that you could come out and ride even. They no longer have either of the two. Nowadays we use that barn to board horses during the Town Frontier days in mid-July. And during that time we'll board about 40 horses here, making our total close to 100 horses on the ranch at one time. Off to the left on the top of the hill there is the Senator's Steakhouse/Casino. That was built in 1994. And that's when these bison tours first started off as well. And originally they would use horses to pull the wagons, but over time they realized that that wasn't going to work out in the long run because the bison were tipping the wagons over. So then they moved on to buses and soon realized that they weren't going to work out either because they were getting stuck in the mud. So back in 2004 is when they first began to lay the tracks for the train, and in 2005 is when it first left the station. On your back right there is Oscar the ostrich, and Oscar is a literal lady killer. He's killed his past two mates. We got him a new girlfriend as of now, and we're going to play it a little bit like baseball this time and give him another go at bat.
Hi Marites, thank you for coming.
He'll be out. Further farm animals along the ranch, we have alpacas, llamas, hogs, goats, and donkeys. And if the sun's up still, you guys are more than welcome to go up there on the catwalk and get a closer look at our animals as the ride ends. We got a bandit hog. He's getting underneath the fence. That's all right. You'll go back in. He can't even move. Over to the left here, these are our yearlings. These are horses that are over a year old, going on to 2. Our next section over is our babies. We have a total of 5 young horses, and they're all colts, no fillies, so they're all boys. And our most recent one's there on the far end with this mama still. His name's Wild Bill, and he's about 12 weeks old. Again, here are our pot-bellied pigs. They're supposed to be in this enclosure. And our long barn. Long barn was built in the 1950s and later caught fire in the 70s. And during the summer is where we'll keep our draft horses, which are all Clydesdale horses. And we have a total
Shout out everyone.
Off to the right of the feeder, that's a Clydesdale horse. His name's Norman. And off to the left, that's a Frisian horse. And his name's Django. Those are 2 of our stud horses here to the ranch. A stud horse is the horse that you'll use to breed your mares with. Over to the right, those are my horses. That pink horse, my niece named Oreo. And the bay horse out there, she's a mare. I named her Dean. Her dad's name was Jimmy, so I named her Dean.
Nag-tour kami guys dito sa farm ranch.
For a little bit of history about the ranch was first established back in, did I already say this, back in 1865 by a man named Charles Terry. That's where we get the name from, Terry Ranch Road. Later on it was sold off to F.E. Warren in 1871. When this was a working operational ranch, they owned over 300,000 acres. Today we own 27,500, which is 42 square miles. Also, they would tend to about 60 to 70,000 head of sheep and close to 8,000 head of cattle.
Wow.
And 2/3 of the ranch was in Wyoming and 1/3 of it was in Colorado. When the tax collectors would come down from each state, F.E. Warren would send the cowboys out to move the livestock from one side of the border to the other. That way he explained, I don't own anything in that state to avoid paying the taxes on it. But he was a politician. He probably got away with a thing or two back in the day. He was a U.S. Senator for 9 years and later on, the first governor of Wyoming. Off to the right-hand side is my favorite part to the ranch, the rodeo arena. Back in the day, the Prairie Bison Ranch used to host a total of 6 rodeos out here a year. And while the rodeos weren't going on, if you had enough courage, you could sign up to ride a bull for yourself. They no longer do that. I really wish they would. I'd get some good laughs. But they have plans in the future to take that all out and replace it with not only 1, but 2 indoor arenas and bring back the rodeos to the Prairie Bison Ranch in the upcoming
Wow, that's nice.
Right now, you guys are in the Great Plains. And it's estimated to be in the early 1800s, be anywhere from 30 to 100 million bison that roam these plains alone. And as the early settlers were coming through, they were having a really difficult time because of the Plains Indians. So the government came up with a conclusion that the best way to get rid of the Indians was to start killing off their primary food source, which was the bison. So that's what they started to do. They started to slaughter these bison by the hundreds of thousands. And the most efficient way on how they would do so would be on horseback. And they could get them rounded up into a big herd, and they would run them for miles on end. A bison can run at a top speed of 40 miles an hour for 2 to 3 miles because they have such a huge lung capacity. And eventually they would then run them off with fur trapper of the name Lee Bogan. And they originally started calling the bison buffalo because they resembled the water buffalo and Cape buffalo in Africa. But as time went on, and they're making the encyclopedia, since the name buffalo was already used for over 100 years, they had to come up with a new name, the scientific term, bison.
Bison,
Up to the
bison.
right-hand side here, this is one of two of our fishing ponds. This summer we had quite a tragedy with that one where we had some bad storms roll through and lightning and struck our water pump. None of us had realized that the water wasn't running through the pond that day.
The
And
lightning.
those trout learned how to float. Wasn't all bad thing though. I'm sure that the foxes in the
Maingay ang train.
And about this time of the year,
The train is noisy.
Nature just beat us to us this year around.
We're inside the
You guys
train.
look out to your left-hand side. Out there behind the tree row, there's an old limestone furnace. That's a 7XL cowboys used to use while they were heating their brands, spraying the livestock for the other cowboys. And just like they do in the show Yellowstone, well, it wasn't all for show. That was something actually that they would do back in the day. They would brand their cowboys, and there was the 7XL cowboys. And with the 7XL brand, if you were to flip that brand 180 degrees, it still reads 7XL. And that was really good for those cowboys back in the day, because most of them couldn't read. Again, there on the left-hand side is the feed yard, which houses anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 bull bison out there at one time. And the reason why it's only bulls and they don't intermingle them with females is because then so they start fighting for breeding rights. Another reason why is because the bulls, they get to be a lot bigger than the females, and they're a lot leaner as well. They don't have as much fat. And the females are considered to be more valuable because in captivity, they're able to put up a calf every single year. Unlike in the wild where it takes closer to 2. You guys know that bison meat has 30% more protein and 70% less fat than beef does? It's a very lean cut of meat. Off to your guys' left again is a rare sighting of southern Wyoming. A tree. So what most ranchers will do, if they don't have a lot of trees out in their pasture, they'll put a thing out there called a cow brush. What that is, that allows their livestock to go and rub up on and scratch it in and live a little bit more comfortably. Kind of like a car wash brush, but instead of being horizontal, it's vertical, up and down, and that just allows them to go and rub up on it. Off to your guys' right, out here in this pasture, there's nothing neat about it, but when the Shining Frontier Days come to town, our RV park fills up 2 months ahead of time. And we'll have to let our guests come out here for a place to stay. And they get to come and sleep with the prairie dogs. And with the prairie dogs, most ranchers and farmers don't like prairie dogs. Not only because they put the big holes in the ground for their livestock to step in, but the main reason why is because they eat the roots of the grass. And we eat that grass come winter time, so we're not buying as much hay. I got the opportunity one day to go on a show ride with a zoologist, and she got to tell me more so about the critters and how they're not as dumb as they look, and how they're actually very intelligent. A group of prairie dogs is called a town, and the town will communicate back and forth with one another using 3 different vocal tones to describe attributes to whatever's coming their way. Prairie dogs are omnivores, which means they eat meat and grass.
Shirley, shout out.
And they're also cannibals. They'll eat each other. There's many ways to control the population of prairie dogs. What most ranchers will do is they'll shoot them. Some will waterboard them.
Maingay ang train.
Smoke stick or a road flare and stick it down the hole and smoke them out. Something that's really frowned upon is poisoning them because as the scavengers come to eat, they tend to get sick and sometimes even die. We do make special poison today specifically for varmint, but it's quite expensive. Something my grandpa uses is double bubble chewing gum. When a prairie dog eats a piece of bubble gum, they're not able to digest it. And over time, as they continuously eat, they will. You feel. And that was for one deal, wasn't it? And a sweet treat for the grandkids. So out here at the Prairie Bison Ranch, we do a thing called sectional ranching. And that's what most ranchers will do, is where they'll move their livestock every season. So about every 3 months, they'll go out and move their herd to another section. And the reason why that's so important is
Mat,
you will leave them out
big
there
love
in this
shout
one
out.
section all year long. Come next year, there won't be any grass out there to even grow back. And that's why it's so important to move them, and that's called overgrazing. All right, now we do have too many bison. You'll notice out there, there's not much grass. Well, we got too many. We got too many head of bison. Each one of these sections is 100 acres, and we have a total of 4, so we can rotate them 4 times of the year. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And right now we have 72 head is what we own, and we're going to start ready to get rid of some. We're doing that over there on the south end. We're building a chute and a funnel and a loading pen and a storage pen. And we need about 40 head for the acreage that we have fenced in like this. Each bison eats about 2% of its body weight throughout the day, and even more so in the wintertime. We do have to implement hay to them even. Each day we drop a round bell, and a round bell weighs roughly a ton. So they eat a ton of hay a day, literally. Wow. Right, we passed it already. That memorial back there, labeled Tinker, that was for the bull that was in the movie, Dances with Wolves. And Tinker was the bull that was chasing the little Indian boy around in the movie. And something else that they forgot to tell the production team down there in North Dakota is that Tinker was a really lazy bull. And they were down there for about 5 days trying to get shots of him running for the movie, and he just wouldn't run for him whatsoever. So supposedly one of the film crew had a pack of Oreos, and he had fed one off to Tinker. Turns out that he really liked them. And what they did, they got a pickup and filled the bag with Oreos and made a trail. That's how they captured the shot of him running in the movie, Dances with Wolves. So coming up on the storm tunnel here, off to the left-hand side of it is the old roof to the tunnel that blew off in a 100-mile-per-hour windstorm. What a storm tunnel is used for, this allows your livestock to get out of the elements of a bad storm. Something I like to ask of my riders as we go through here is to just give me a big yeehaw! Yeah! Alrighty, and I'm going to start to tell you guys about these bison. So, the gestation period of a bison is 9 months, just like beef cattle. And when the calves are first born, they come out in a red cinnamon color, and we call them red dogs. And on average, they weigh anywhere from 35 to 50 pounds as they're newborn. And by the time that they're only 6 months old, their mother's milk is so rich, by that time, they weigh close to 500 pounds. A bison's horns are made out of hair, which is keratin, just like your fingernails and toenails. And unlike antlers, over time antlers don't shed off. Horns, however, they don't. They'll continue to grow over time. So, the male's horns, they're a lot straighter. So, a bison reaches its maturity sexually between the ages of 5 and 7. And when a bull reaches its maturity, his horns will be about 90 degrees. With the yearlings out there, they're a lot straighter. And the females, their horns, they start to curl in more so. And something with beef cows, we don't do anything. We don't really tend to them or doctor them. We pretty much let nature take its course with the bison. And it's really not a good way to put them through a chute. And if you do put them through a chute, well, hydraulic hoses are very expensive. And they'll tear one up pretty good. With beef cows, you go in and you snip their horns, and you put a special powder on their horns, and that makes it able for the horns not to grow back as quickly. Because otherwise, if you don't tend to your cow's horns, eventually they'll start to embed into your cow, causing problems or maybe even killing your cow eventually. A couple differences between bison and beef cattle. One is that we don't castrate any of the bulls, so there's no steers out there. Two, the obvious one, they don't moo like cows do. They grunt, bellow, and snort. Another difference, you guys may have heard how beef cows have. That's not entirely true. A beef cow has one stomach with 4 chambers, and a bison has one stomach with 3 chambers. And they're in the same family, same category of bovine, and primarily they eat grass. They're herbivores. They do a thing called chewing their cud. And what that means is they'll chew the grass one time, it'll go to the second chamber, and then they'll regurgitate it. So they'll throw it back up into their mouth and chew it up again, eventually making its way through the digestive tract, making a cow patty. And right here, off to the left, that's usually the Colorado sign. The bike were rubbing up on it the other day and knocked the sign over. If you guys are from Colorado, welcome back for the second time this evening. Something I like to say on your sign is that it's not very colorful. Here in Wyoming, we've changed the state sign up on the highway 3 times already this year. That's not one up you guys from Colorado or anything. That's just because people keep hitting the sign up there on the highway. So sometimes these cows come up to the drag and they'll be real funny on their hind quarters. They do fight just like brothers and sisters do. But for the most part, that's from the bulls getting up and mounting the cows. Their hooves are very rigid and very sharp. And when they get on, well, they'll cut on the backside.
Look at the
And a
bison.
lot of the ladies on the train will say, well, that looks like it hurts. Well, love hurts.
Love hurts.
Some of them are nailed.
Maybe. Yeah, there you go. Hit that one. So the way that we do this, so we're going to start from the back. Groups in the back can start to come up to the front of the train.
There
You guys can get your turn and your pictures up here. And when you guys are done, don't take 20 minutes up here. You know, be considerate to others. But go ahead and come on up, and I'll show you guys how to feed them up here. It's really simple. As you guys are waiting in your windows, you can take a piece of this feed, which is made out of corn, molasses, and alfalfa, and you can tap it on the side of the car out here, and that'll draw these bison in to come a little bit closer, and they'll come up and they'll open up their mouths real wide.
Open the window.
And all you have to do,
Daddy,
is drop it off.
you wanna
in
open the
mouth.
window?
Really simple.
Go ahead.
Not gonna make it any more complicated.
You first. Let me see.
Just drop it. He loves his mouth. Drop it.
Got it. Go ahead. Drop it. Drop it.
That's the younger one. That's the bigger one. He's running him off.
Oh. Do you have any more?
And some of these windows do not open, unfortunately. Yeah.
Come on, Bison. Come here, Bison. Come here, Bison. There you go.
So bison hunters,
They're so cute.
I know.
bison hunters,
They are
there's a
cute.
piece of the bison that they used to cut off to keep count of how many they had killed throughout the day. Does anybody have an idea?
They're probably confused. Where is that noise coming from?
Huh?
Too many noise coming out.
Yeah. So that's what they would do. They did songs too. So bison hunters back in the day, what they used to do after they would kill a bison, in order to keep track of how many they had killed, they would cut their tails off. Some would even cut out their tongues because it was considered a delicacy in the eastern regions. A bison's tongue is anywhere from 10 to 18 inches long and 3.5 inches wide. For the majority of bison, the top side of their tongues are black and the bottom is pink. But some of their tongues are all pink. And those were the tongues that were really sought out after in the early 1900s, considered to be a trophy. And as time went on and the numbers were dwindling throughout the bison herd, that's when the Yellowstone National Park came into play in the early 1920s. And that protected these bison from being hunted and even going extinct. And that had the majority to do on why they're still around today. But for the most part, it was families on the farm that were bringing these bison in and protecting them from the cowboys. And cowboys really didn't have a good name back in the day. Nowadays, it's good to know a cowboy or two. That's crowded up here. I don't like nice faces. third bull. Our last lead bull, his name was Gene Simmons. He got to the age of 22 years old, and we had to put him down about 3 months ago because we got a lot of prairie dog bulls out here, and they were running, and he had stepped in one and broke his leg. And when something happens like that in the wild, where the lead bull becomes weak, all of the other bulls know, and they take full advantage of it. So every time Gene Simmons would try to get up out of the dirt and recover, Charlie Brown would push him right back down. I guess he wanted all those women for himself. I had an old timer say one morning, if he were to die, he wanted to be reincarnated as Charlie Brown. He said that would be the way to go.
Go look. Go look.
He ain't going nowhere.
I'm fine.
You're good.
Yes, I'm good here.
Close up at the door.
Nah, this is good.
I know you guys have already, some of you guys have already had your turn up here. There's a way to pet Charlie if you're wanting to, and you're feeding him. Have you been in his nose area?
I'm good here. Oh, they're fighting.
I said it with my mouth earlier.
They are wild. They are not.
Oh, wild.
Yes.
I thought this is owned by ranch people.
It is owned, but they treat these. They don't come out. They don't medicate them. They don't do anything. They just let them be. They let them be buffalo.
Madison, you want to feed the big one at the door?
This is the cattleman I'm with right now. The way that Bison breeds, pretty cool. They'll court female for 3 days. Then they'll stay with that one cow for 3 days, and they'll follow that cow wherever she goes. And then on the 3rd day, they'll breed, and they'll go on to the next cow. He's a bachelor.
She was already there. Yeah, she was already there.
Let me try to feed them.
She got lost in line.
Come here, Bison. Come here, Bison. Come here, Bison. Come here, Bison. Here. You don't want to come over. Man, they are so cute. Look at that. Ah!
If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I encourage that you do ask questions. Make our job a little bit more interesting throughout the day when you do have some for us. If you guys ever eat bison, it's anywhere between the ages of 2 and 5. And the reason why that is because that's when the meat's at its highest quality. You wouldn't raise bison to be 20 years old because then their meat would be really tough. You lose most of the time cut the meat. You have to grind them up. And at that point, well, what's that? And the back strap. The back strap is considered to be the most delicate part on most wild animals. And just look how big the back strap is on a bison. That'd be about 20 steaks.
Come here. Chloe. Good job. Good job.
I tried.
You can. Tina. Come here. Come over here.
You want to throw it in?
Yeah, come. Let me get it. Let me get it. Here. Come over here. Go sit. Go sit. More. We have food?
Chicky, you want to throw
Chicky,
it in?
throw the food. Good job.
You don't have to. Oh, no, that's, I'll give you that.
You have to throw far. Throw far. There you go. go. Throw it far. You can throw it far. Throw it farther. Far, far, far. Good job.
Look out, Pablo. Your friend's gonna touch.
Good job.
No, I want to.
Yeah.
And then this.
You have to throw it far. Throw it far. Far, far. There you go. Chicky. More food. Throw it far, far, far. Very far. Throw it very far. Far, far, far. Look, look, they're fighting. Look, they're fighting.
Here, you want one?
Throw it far. Very good. That's the way it is. Far, far, far. They're cool,
Oh,
huh?
you're feeding the bison? Thank you.
The way that bison shed, they'll continue to shed all year round. During the wintertime, when it starts to get colder, they'll start to activate more of the weather, and their coat will start to come in thicker. During the summertime, it'll start to thin out, and it'll be a lot thinner during the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
There's some up like the trading post.
Take trouble.
Good job. Good job.
Let your friend throw some too. Your friend is gonna throw some.
Uh-oh.
All right, that's enough. Okay, good job.
Good job.
I'll beat them.
Just watch them. Just watch. Watch. Just watch. Just watch.
Oh, done.
In like in the 60s or so. It was like the Confederate Army and they were coming down a hillside. Anybody seen that? Anyways, what I was told is that they filmed it right over there coming down that hill.
Good job.
Good
All
job.
right, Chicky, come on. Let's go sit.
You guys know that you can't rope a bison around the neck? You guys have to rope them around their horns. If you were to rope them around their neck, they have a really fragile larynx, and you kill that bison. The only way to rope a bison is around their horns and their hooves.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend 3 ropes. Maybe 5. More ropes the better.
Go with Mama.
Come here. Come here. I know. Chicky, you have to throw it farther. Far, like far, far away. Far, far away. Throw it far, far away. Far. Very good.
Movies over here.
Here.
We have to share. We're sharing.
Big deal.
Here, I'll give you a couple, okay? Here, sit. You have to sit
A
down.
lot of people in the summertime when these bison are breathing real hard, they'll think they're having contractions. They're not. Well, I guess they could be. That's about the time when they're having babies. Like mid-July or
Look at them. Look at their oh, they're fighting.
They're fighting.
I'm parking on that way.
there's not really very many signs. Like, on a hot summer day, they're just breathing really hard and it looks like they're having contractions. It's hard to tell.
Look at the horns. You see the horns on the buffalo?
That's actually
No, I want pizza. You want to eat one? No, look. They're gonna watch them eat
They're
it.
fighting.
They're eating it.
I don't have any more. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
7 days a week. I don't have very much time for television. I've seen you guys out here from state to state. You guys keep me in the loop and make it very well. Right now for natural disasters, we got wildfires in Montana, Colorado, California, recent hurricanes in Louisiana, Florida, and in recent news, have you guys heard about the guy that robbed the train and killed 2 people? Well, he got charged with manslaughter and they sentenced him to death. For his last meal, he asked for a banana. For some odd reason, he got through eating his last meal just fine and they hooked him up to the electrical chair. When they turned it on, nothing happened to him. They had never seen something like that before in their life. So one of them goes, what do you think the problem was? An old timer steps in and says, if I had to guess, I think it was a bad conductor. Has everybody got a chance to come up to the door? No. We're going to go ahead and get the train rolling here again. What you guys can do after you guys get back to your seats, you guys can throw some food out of the window as we go along, and the bison will chase us as we go.
Oh, cool. Get some food, honey. Throw the food on the window
Okay.
so the bison can follow us. Oh, they're fighting.
You know how you get that? You just smell the backside of the door. You're looking for a new girl.
Start feeding when we start moving.
Ready?
Ready?
All right, guys, please take your seats. We're going to start rolling here.
Our seats are stuck. We cannot take it. He said, take your seat. I said, our seats are stuck. We cannot take it. You got me. Oh, we're going. The train is moving.
That's the best part, right here. Rocky Mountains, about this time.
The bison is moving. Give some food. Ah! Bye-bye, bison. They're following us.
Barreling into each other.
This one is lazy. He don't want to get up. The bison is following us. It's following us. That is so cool. Bye-bye, Bison.
So originally, I'm here from Kansas. Last winter I was guiding hunts back home, and throughout that you get to meet a lot of lifelong friends. And one of them living down here in Cheyenne, he's a trout fishing guide. Well, throughout our hunts, we got to the end of it, so they usually say, well, you need to come down to our place and see what we have in store. That's what I did. He invited me down. I'd only planned to stay for a week, and the week ended, and we had so much fun, and we were catching so many trout that I wanted to stay longer.
Baba, close the
So
window.
I ran it by him, and he was fine with it,
Stand up.
and I took full advantage of it. And while I was here,
Thank
there
you.
in Cheyenne, there's an old Western boutique called the Wrangler, and I went in there to go get a hat shape. This is a cap. I went in there to go get a hat shape, and I got talking to an old boy in a wheelchair. And usually a cowboy doesn't start off in a wheelchair, so I asked him if he'd always been in one. And he said, no, it hasn't always been like this. I was coming home from a rodeo one night, and I had wrecked my pickup and paralyzed myself from the waist down. And now he's been shaping hats now for over 25 years. Got to talking to him for quite some time, and at the end of our conversation, I just asked, well, what's there to do around here in Cheyenne? I'm new to town and need some things to do and see. And he recommended there's the train depot there in town.
Are those ducks or turkeys?
And tell you the history of the old town. There's the,
These
and then there's the Prairie Bison Ranch. And he said, well, that's about it. So I came down to the Prairie Bison Ranch that morning, and at the time, they only had 2 Wranglers on there at the barn for about 50 horses to ride. And if you know anything about horses, they don't have a walker out here. So there's no way for us to get them off and get them some exercise. We have to saddle these horses up and take them out to walk them. And I realized that they were really short-handed, so I put in an application, not really thinking anything of it whatsoever. But if you got a little bit of horsemanship or a little bit of farming background or a rodeo background, you can pretty much get a job on a ranch anywhere in the United States. So I wasn't hurting for a job by any means. Put an application in, and I went home that night and started to pack my stuff up. And I got a phone call. They called me that night, and I started the next day. I've been here ever since, going up on a year now. And I love it. After you guys left, there's a field here. There's a big 6x6 truck out there. And in the front, closer to the thicket. Doctor, bad news, sir. He goes, well, I went to the doctor the other day, and he told me I only have 3 to 6 months to live. And at that point, it felt pretty bad. I was like, well, that's terrible, you know. And he goes, don't worry about it. I shot that doctor. And then the judge gave me 20 years. So this is the original train here that they built back in 2000.
The original train.
That's called the Queen. Oh yeah. Look at that bucket. Over on the right-hand side here, this building is what used to be the blacksmith to the ranch, and the blacksmith burned down in 1963 because somebody had forgotten to put out the candles that night as they were leaving the shop. And over to the left, that's a trick arena. That's for horses that do tricks. We have a total of 3 horses here on the ranch that can do tricks. We don't know how to work any of them because the lady that did up and left without showing anybody how they work. In here on the left-hand side is a little church room where a host of events such as weddings. One of our previous weddings that we had here in town on the ranch, they wanted to ride horses up to the altar. And we got that done for them, no problem. But that lady was really, really upset when she dismounted off of her horse and came down and stepped in horse poop in her new wedding dress. Off to the right, that bridge, back in the day, that was the only way in and the only way out to the ranch. There was a creek bed that ran throughout, and it kept everything out, just kind of like a moat to a castle. And the reason why they put suspension on the bridge was to bear more of the load, and that horse was way closer to the top. This building here off to the left-hand side is what used to be the cook shack. And if you look at the corner, it looks a little funky. When they put the first train on and did their first trial run, they realized that they didn't have enough room to get by the building there. So in order to get by, they had to cut a corner and it off for the cowboys and delivery. The last thing that you guys get to experience this evening is that a parallel line. I want to thank you guys for coming out to the Prairie Bison Ranch and riding along with us. Oh guys, it's just really fun. You guys have safe travel back home where you're headed. And I will ask you guys to take your favorite other things up to the top and then you guys look to your left right there. There's some vinyl peacocks trying to keep the trunk out. And also, back in here, alrighty, you guys are pretty good. Thank you guys for coming out with us tonight.
Hold on.
I'll show you the videos I got.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. You're very welcome.
That's all I have. That's all.
Bye. See ya.
Just wait, we're waiting for everybody.
Okay, get out after this person. Come on.